Hello everyone.
This is very impromptu. We've decided we just can't help ourselves.
We just had to shoot a video today based on, the recent events, the announcement of the, what do you got? Oh, she's got her little Trumpy.
Got me Trumpy.
She's got a little Trumpy celebration stick. Look, my name's Bella.
Jane.
If you haven't listened to us before, we're just two friends. We're not experts, but we had to, talk and share on this video because as light workers who have come to it sounds wanky to say that, but we are light workers. We have come to the planet to serve in the evolution of humanity. And if you have been watching our videos and you like our content, then you are also a light worker who's come to serve in the evolution of humanity. And it is our absolute duty to share what we think is happening with the US election at the moment. And it's our duty because we feel it's really important to pop as many bliss bubbles as we can before the truth is revealed. So, where do we start?
It's no secret that we are Trump supporters. We have been for at least 4 years now, and there has never been a time where we weren't more invested in how this man takes us forward as a humanity. And with the election, the supposed, congratulations going out around the world for Biden and Kamala
Harris.
Yeah, we know it's not going to. He's not going to make it to be 46th president of the United States.
We know it's not real, and whatever you think about Donald Trump, you could think, oh my God, like I went in a coffee shop this morning and they're like, oh, Biden. I was like, hang on a minute. We're only in the second act of the movie. The third act is still yet to come. And they're like, what are you talking about? Biden has won. Biden has only won if you are under the dream spell of the mainstream news, the mainstream media. Take that in. It's not real. What you are seeing released on the TV, and I know it's very hard to get your head around that if you are following the news and you are listening to, all the prime ministers of the different countries congratulating Joe Biden. It's very hard to listen to two Aussie chicks that know nothing.
Well, we know Joe Biden's a pedivore. We know that he's a child trafficker. We know that he's a drug trafficker. We know that his son has had deals with the Ukraine, Russia and China, and that daddy collects a commission on those deals. We know that the future of the world would be a very different place if Biden did make it into power. There's no way known on God's green earth that he will. Even the Democrat Party were not there in their little cars to support him when he was having his rallies, with all of 10 cars turning up.
Let's just focus on the rallies for a second. Donald Trump had thousands, hundreds of thousands of people show up to his rallies. Joe Biden would have 10 people, 20 people. Come on. It would have to take an insane person to think a person who only had 10 people show up to their rallies could get the most votes of any president in the history of US elections. I mean, come on. And coming back to the Democratic Party, and let's say you are all for the Democrat, you're all for Joe Biden. Are you okay with the fact that the Democratic Party won this election through fraud? Let's talk about the fraud for a moment.
Oh, come on, we've all heard, even through the mainstream media on the first night, when it was very clear that there was electoral fraud with all of the ballots that are, coming in shipping containers from China, and the Republican watchers not being allowed in, and the cardboard going up, and.
And the mainstream media news will have you believe that this is all bull dust. It's not. It's not bull dust. Donald Trump, let's talk about just Pennsylvania. He was up 700,000 votes, if not 800,000 votes. They stopped counting, which has never happened before in the history of any US election. And they stopped counting just long enough to, while everyone was sleeping in Australia, the Democratic Party found, 700,000 mail-in votes came in overnight that were all, every single 700,000 of them were all for Joe Biden. That's statistically impossible.
Impossible? Come on.
It's statistically
possible.
I mean,
right?
it doesn't take a maths genius to figure out 700,000 mail-in ballots coming in overnight all go to the same party.
What I find extraordinary is that the people that want Biden to become president have no fucking idea about
who they're electing and what he stands for.
the horror, the fucking horror.
The horror of the enslavement of humanity that will follow if Biden is elected. People are so blinded over their hate for Trump. And what's the most common? That he's a racist and he's a bigot. That's what we hear the most. They're so blinded by that he's sexist, that he's racist, that they're willing to vote in a baby-eating, pedivore, whatever you want to.
The fact that he's there, I mean,
Our mind is just blown over this.
it's blown too. And like, I was actually, when Bella called me this morning and said, oh, great news, Biden's been, he's won. And I was like, fuck yeah, because you know what? There's a plan in place. There's a plan that's been planned out for a long time with the Q team and the White Hats and all these people, that they needed this. They needed Joe to be declared as president-elect so that they could legally start court proceedings and do all the stuff that they have to do, the truth, the stories, the evidence, all the proofs that will start coming out now as a result of Biden being declared as president-elect. They needed that to happen.
For example, if someone is going to commit a crime, you can't police them on their going to commit a crime. You have to catch them in the act and then police them. So what we believe is happening is that Joe Biden has fraudulently won the election, and then that will be revealed in the coming weeks through the Supreme Court.
They're talking about that Trump really has had a clean sweep through 50 states. There are 50 red states that, what we're seeing on the mainstream media is just, it's embarrassing and it's humorous and it's just vomitous, because it's such just one lie upon lie upon lie, and they're all patting themselves on the back and sending off their little tweets. And there's Dan Andrews, isn't Biden a great bloke? And, ScoMo's up there just giving him a little rub.
I've just been absolutely appalled over even people that I know and love in the woke community are like bowing. Oh yes, woke. Biden, we finally got this, Trump out of power. I'm just like, oh my goodness, if you truly care about the evolution of humanity, if you truly care about jumping into fifth dimensional consciousness and having liberty for all, you would not be Hail Marying Biden coming into power. It absolutely blows our mind to pieces.
And yet,
here we are.
And yet it just shows how powerful the programming is and how powerful the brainwashing has been. And, I said to someone today, 9 months ago, I was there, I had no idea. 9 months ago. And then
I wasn't there 9 months ago.
And then COVID came, and it's like, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist. I was just like, yeah, whatever, I just go along with things, Who cares if someone walked on the moon or not? I don't give a shit. 9/11, yeah, whatever. I don't care. But now we know that just about almost everything we've been told is a goddamn lie. From the education, from astrology, from the world history on wars. What else? Everything's a goddamn lie.
Everything is a lie, and everything has been set up and programmed for this very moment. Even the programming. Okay, so let's say the programming, the polls were false, saying that Biden was going to win, and all this programming. Okay, let's bring it back to COVID. Okay, so COVID, which is a complete pandemic, it's not real, it doesn't exist. It was like eons ago, but COVID gets released, it gets made in a lab in China, gets released onto the public, and then the whole fear around COVID and, you know, not being able to leave your house and social distance is then what's used for the mail-in ballots.
Oh yes, they had the same counters. The people who were counting
yes.
COVID deaths were the same counters.
And then the mail-in ballot is what's being used to determine this US election. Like, how can you not see that the dots are all connected? That's what I want to know. How people cannot see that the dots are connected. The whole thing is a lie.
It just who's going to vote for a guy who's said during the debates and stuff, we're going to raise the taxes, we're going to shut the states down, we're going to put a mask in, you're going to be in a mask for the rest of your life. You know, what other horrors?
Well, apparently 80 million people voted for this. 80 million people. Did 80 million people really vote for a man that's going to raise taxes, shut down the economy, put everyone in a mask and enslave humanity?
No, they really didn't. And if you think they did, and if you're happy about the fact that it appears that way if you watch the mainstream media, then, you know, enjoy your little party while it lasts, because it's not going to last for very long. And it's going to be a very sad day and a very hard day for the people who have fallen for this and are now gloating about it and making a big deal out of it. It's going to be a very, very hard day. And unfortunately, from this sort of, from where I sit at the moment, people are going to be suicidal. People are going to be like, how can we, they're not going to be able to comprehend it at all. So,
and that's why we feel it's our duty to, I mean, if you've watched this far, then you're on the same page as us. If you're a, you know, hardcore Democrat and you think we're absolutely crazy, I'm talking to you. It is my duty to share this information with you so that when this all does get revealed and the house of cards, so to speak, crumbles, you won't say, well, this is the first I've heard of it.
oh my goodness, you'd have to have been living under a rock. I don't understand how anyone could not have heard about this stuff, all the stuff. I mean, but then again, we look, we talked about it as well. Bella said, how many people do you really actually think around the globe are kind of on the same page as we are? And, you know, with all the Charlie Freaks and the Sasha Stones and the Charlie Wards and the 107 and the
love him
Santa Surfing, with all these voices that are speaking the truth. How many around the globe or on the plane of the earth, whatever do we live in a globe or I don't even know that anymore.
Is the earth round? Is it flat? We don't know. We've been lied to over everything, and I'm willing to, you know, admit I don't know. And
I don't know how many people around on the globe, world, Earth. Let's call it Mother Earth and be done with it. We are living on Mother Earth, and how many people are truly awake, I don't know.
So what's going to happen in the coming weeks?
But not many. We're in a
All
minority.
will be revealed. Joe Biden will never take the presidency of the United States.
Impossible. It's not going to happen. Within the next 2 months, 6 weeks, be prepared to be shocked into, if you're still asleep, you're going to be shaken and awoken, because the gates have opened. The gates have opened. You know, Trump's out on the golf course today having a nice time because he knows what's going on. This has been a plan in action for a long time. This is beautiful to watch. It's so damn exciting.
I mean, I went to film school, right? And this is a classic hero's journey. We have only just entered into the third act of the movie. We've just seen the second act play out with the whole election, and I am actually blown away that guys I went to uni with are actually like, woo, 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 the Democratic Party, Joe Biden. I'm like, you went to film school? Surely you can see that this movie is still playing out. Apparently not.
And while we call it a hero's journey in the larger sense,
yes,
it's also a hero's journey for each and every one of us. And we need to own the journey from our own inner being, our inner knowing, our inner trusting, and embrace that journey for ourselves, as well as observing the journey from an inner perspective looking out, from an inner perspective looking in as well. because
This is the Great Awakening of humanity. The Great Awakening, 2020 to 2030. It's where the mass of humanity will awaken, and the next 4 years is critical. 2020 was the first year of the awakening. Up till 2024, that's when we're going to see the biggest change. And a lot of that's starting with this election. We're going to see the healthcare system change. We're going to see the banking, money system change. There's going to be a new paradigm of money consciousness. Big Pharma
quantum financial.
Big Pharma will fall. All of the corrupt industries on the planet will fall. Education will transform. I don't think it'll fall. I think it's going to it's going to transform into something that's more aligned.
They might teach the kids some truth. Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, yeah, we'd love to hear. If you've got some stories about what you know is coming in the Great Awakening of humanity, drop us a message. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Gosh, what a couple of days, eh? And you know what? We're in for a bumpy few months, I think. It's not going to be pretty, a lot of it. I think it's going to be really shocking and horrifying for a lot of people.
I think up to December 21st, which is, you know, interesting in the United States. One, as Savin mentioned this, it's the winter solstice, so we're going from dark to light. So the darkness is all leading up to December the 21st, and then when we tip over into, you know, moving into the light, which I think is phenomenal. And for us in the Southern Hemisphere, we're obviously coming into the peak of summer, the peak of expansion, and we are going to be in Uluru.
Let's do the Trump dance. We haven't practiced.
No, we don't. We're going to be in Uluru, and, you know, Uluru is the higher heart center of the earth, and the expansion that's coming in with the solar flare that's predicted on on December the 21st will create a ripple effect of light and expansion and fifth dimensional consciousness reaching the furthest corners of the globe. So if you are not awake yet, you're probably not watching this video. Wake up! Yeah. But it's wakey, humanity. And, you know, I've spent the last 10 years myself awakening. I've known for 10 years we were moving into 5D consciousness. I did not know up until this year the horrors that were going to crumble in the 3D reality. But what you're seeing now, I'm going to take this term from our guy Sasha Stone, is the death rattle of the 3D paradigm. What you're seeing playing out with the US election and what you're seeing going on with all this chaos around the world. It's an old, dying paradigm that is no longer serving humanity.
Yes, and this paradigm, this Leviathan that has been in play for the last thousands of years, probably since the beginning of life on this planet, who knows, but forever, basically. This, you know, and I don't know if we can really kill this thing off altogether. I mean, no one expects a perfect world. If we don't have dark, how are we going to see the light and all that stuff?
No, there's going to be an equal balance of light and dark. What there's been is dark, 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 dark. We're going to be restoring the balance of light and dark, just like as the feminine rises. It's not to suppress the masculine, it's to restore the balance of masculine and feminine, restore dark and light.
Yeah, like this beast still has its clutches in. I mean, just it's stupid stuff like, look, in Victoria, Dan Andrews, good old Dan, hey? Dan the man, yeah. You know, he's just announced now till the 21st of November, or if you're going to go outside, even if you're alone, you still have to wear a mask. I mean, come on.
If you think this is about COVID,
what the fuck is that?
And I actually saw Joe Biden. He's not even the president yet. He doesn't even if he really did win the election, he doesn't become the president until the end of January, right? He's already announced a COVID plan to suppress and enslave Americans.
Lock him down.
Like, come on.
Lock him down. Lock you down, Joe. Jack, back down in the basement. You're
well, I don't even think Joe Biden's alive. It's some sort of weird clone. I don't know. There's some weird thing going on with the clones.
There's a lot of body double shit going on. I don't know who's...
We're not going to go into all of that because, you know, that's a whole rabbit hole that, you know, could consume a lot of time. We know. We've been there.
Yeah, we're not going there.
Anything else they need to know on our little...
Oh, hang on a minute. I want to show you something.
Oh. Here we go.
Look at Lizzie. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at her. She's stepped down. Isn't she just lizard? Lizzie. She was never gonna.
The royal
She
family.
was never gonna give it up with
The
that.
royal family are going down, along with the banking system,
Sick.
big
sick,
pharma,
sick.
and all the other corrupt.
Oh, all of them. The media, the bloody celebrities. God damn. I mean, I watched a little thing yesterday from The View.
Tell us.
It was a little piece from The View. That Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, Whoopi. Oh. It was who was it? What's her bloody name? She's a little actress. Forget it. I can't remember her name.
Well, you got to say her name now. What is she in?
She did. Oh, she was in that ballet movie Black Swan.
Oh, yes, Natalie Portman.
All right, so apparently Natalie Portman's in Australia right now, getting ready to film, you know, with Chris Hemsworth, whatever, Thor or whatever it is. Anyway, so she's in her little hotel room, which looked like a prison, by the way. It was really ugly, and there was this weird kids print on. It was.
Of course, there was a kid's print on the wall.
Yeah, it was some schmeared. Anyway, whatever. But anyway, she's telling us all about this book that she's brought out. This book that she's on these fables. So what she's done is she's rewritten. Gorgeous thing, isn't she? Helping the kids out. Rewritten this book on fables, but she's changed the boys to the girls, and you know, put all the women in power and cut their balls off, and they're all binary now. Whatever
Let's
the fuck
talk
that is.
about this a bit.
Fluid.
Yeah, this gender fluid, gender binary, this whole
There
weird
are no boys or
thing
girls.
that's
Let
going
the
on.
kids choose
Look,
what
this
they want to
is
be.
all part of a bigger plan to emasculate the men, emasculate the alpha males that are, you know, rising in humanity.
Not only that, it's to de-sex everybody.
Yeah.
To de-sex. Boys aren't boys, girls aren't
Why
girls.
would they do that?
Because that'll be the automatum way of the future, where, you know, you'll just be used for, you know, you're not a woman or a man. You're not a living woman or man of the soil. You're just a bit of meat that gets used for, you know, the AI freaking sexless, funless.
Up until 2020, we didn't care two hoots about politics, and I've never even voted, so...
No,
you know.
and I mean, you know, we're all learning every single day. Every single day is learning right now, isn't it? Every single day.
It is, but the US election is a very pivotal, important point in history. It's important not just for Americans, but for every single citizen on this earth. Because what happens over there determines the fate of our future, for the future of humanity.
Listen to Wano Saban if you can find him.
Wano Saban, Charlie Freak. Who else we got?
Oh, well, Sasha. There's always Sasha.
Sasha
We
Stone.
always Sasha.
We love a bit of Roseanne Barr. She's a
alright.
character. You know, there's a lot of people who are talking about this information, and, you know, we're sort of just relaying the bits that, you know, we feel are relevant for you to know. So, touching base, Joe Biden will not be the next president-elect. He will not be the 46th president of the United States. Not going to happen. The reality of that bubble is going to pop in the coming weeks as the truth is revealed. And we are in for a bumpy ride for the next, you know, 2 months especially, but for the next 3 years as the collapse of this outdated reality.
Be gone, beast.
Yeah.
Be gone.
Yeah.
We love you, Trumpy. We know you're going to win. Hope you got a
Hey,
birdie
no,
today on the golf course.
we know you've already won. We know that this whole movie is, you know, playing out, and we're excited to see.
We're excited.
We're excited. We're excited to see the end result. Yeah.
I'll put my white hat on. You put your white hat on. And, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. We just had to get that out, didn't we, Bella?
We had to get it off our chest because it was like, we had to like get it out. And I said to Janie, come on, let's do a video. It's got to be like right now. We got the big wave behind us there.
We're riding a wave right now, peeps. Let's hold on tight, you know.
Yes.
Have our feet, get our body weight down. Just
She's still going. I'm like, thank you for listening.
bye.